The Quiet Life on Willow Creek. Elias Grant had spent 30 years building a quiet life on the edge of Pine Hollow, a secluded mountain community connected to the outside world by a single wooden bridge over Willow Creek. His rustic cabin, nestled in the pines, was more than a home. It was a sanctuary, a place of healing after years in the city. The bridge, built by Elias's late father, had always been a shared passage, used by neighbors and visitors alike. The Homeowners Association, HOA, managed the town's aesthetics and rules, but no one had ever questioned the bridge's public access, until now. When Elias returned from a supply run to find a freshly posted "No Trespassing" sign and a locked gate at the foot of the bridge, he was stunned. The HOA had blocked his access, claiming he was in violation of new trail usage regulations. Confused and isolated, Elias retreated to his cabin, unaware that this act of exclusion would change everything. A paper trail and a hidden truth. Refusing to be pushed out without answers, Elias dug through old property records stored in his father's weathered desk. Dusty blueprints, faded deeds, and yellowed correspondence revealed a truth no one in Pine Hollow seemed to remember. The land beneath the bridge, and the structure itself, was deeded solely to the Grant family. His father had allowed public use out of kindness, never formalizing it with an easement. Legally, the bridge was private property. Elias sat in silence that night, lantern light flickering over the documents. He wasn't just a resident, he was the gatekeeper. The realization didn't bring anger. It brought sorrow. The community he'd always considered family had turned on him without knowing the full story. But now he held a quiet power he never asked for. The town reacts. News spread quickly. The HOA claimed Elias was being unreasonable, framing the blockade as a necessary enforcement of community standards. Town meetings buzzed with tension. Some neighbors defended him, recalling how Elias had repaired the bridge after floods and cleared snow from the path each winter. Others resented the idea that one man could control their only link to the highway, schools, and medical services. Shopkeepers worried about deliveries. Elderly residents feared being stranded. Elias remained silent, watching from afar. He didn't want control, he wanted fairness. But as the days passed and no apology came from the HOA board, he realized silence wouldn't bring change. Something had to shift. The lights on the bridge. One morning, the townspeople awoke to a quiet miracle. The bridge was still closed, but strung along its railing were dozens of small lanterns, handmade from mason jars and twine, each glowing with a soft, warm light. Attached was a note in Elias's careful handwriting. The bridge was built for connection, not control. I don't want to keep anyone out. I just want to be heard. The gesture stirred something deep in Pine Hollow. Children drew pictures of the bridge and left them at the gate. A local teacher started a letter-writing campaign urging dialogue. The emotional weight of Elias's quiet protest began to crack the rigidity of the HOA's stance. For the first time, people saw not a stubborn loner, but a man who loved this place as much as they did. The meeting under the pines. Instead of holding their usual meeting in the sterile community hall, Elias requested a gathering at the edge of the woods, near the bridge, beneath the towering pines. Reluctantly, the HOA board agreed. Dozens of residents came, wrapped in coats, breath visible in the crisp air. Elias spoke simply, without accusation. He shared stories of his father, of winters spent shoveling the path so the school bus could pass, of helping neighbors during storms. This bridge was never about ownership, he said. It was about belonging. A bridge reimagined. In the weeks that followed, a new proposal emerged, not from the HOA but from the community. Elias would retain ownership of the bridge, but in exchange a joint stewardship committee would be formed, including residents, HOA members, and Elias himself. They would maintain the bridge, preserve its history, and ensure fair access for all. In a symbolic act, the old gate was removed and replaced with a carved wooden arch, inscribed with a single word: together. Elias reopened the path, but this time it wasn't out of obligation. It was an invitation. Volunteers planted wildflowers along the trail, and installed solar lanterns that glowed each evening, a tribute to the night the lights returned. The ripple of kindness. Years later, the bridge is no longer just a crossing. It's a landmark, a place where couples take evening walks, where children leave painted rocks as offerings of peace. The HOA still exists, but it's changed. More open, more listening. Elias still lives in his cabin, older now, but no less present. He teaches woodworking to local kids, using wood from fallen pines. Tourists sometimes ask about the story behind the lanterns. "Oh," Elias says with a gentle smile, "it's just a bridge. But once it taught a town how to come back together." And every evening, when the lights flicker on, the people of Pine Hollow remember sometimes the greatest power isn't in closing a gate, but in choosing again and again.